This is Tanya Bridge Malone back with another YouTube video. I don't know exactly what the Lord wants me to speak on, but I feel like He will guide me. I'm going to turn my truck off so I ain't burning up gas. I hope y'all having a blessed day. I did upload a couple videos today. I uploaded a fit video. I know I need to do something with my hair. It's a mad mess. I'm going to wash it tonight and put it up in my towel. I got a couple of those I use. A lot of times the Lord will guide me as I'm speaking to people on my platform. If y'all like my videos, like, comment, share, subscribe, and put a thumbs up in the video. Leave a comment in the comment section. I don't care about the negative comments. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, as long as you're commenting something nice, you know what I mean? You can critique me or whatever you may want to do, but as far as you being negative or, if you're telling me certain things that you know what I mean? Like, I don't put up with haters. Y'all know that. So, it is what it is. But anyway, I know I got haters. I know I got debaters. But I don't cater to people like a waiter. Christ is my Savior. Those are lyrics I wrote myself. I use them in my everyday language, because they were guided by the Lord. Many of you out here have got a talent. And I know I kind of piggybacked probably off another video where I talked about this. If you are a person who has a talent and everywhere you go, people reject you, just know that it's God's redirection and perfect protection. I've said that many a times on my platform. It's not the first time I've ever said it. I know I repeat myself many a times, but God says there's people that's watching my videos that they need to be reminded of their worth. Just know your worth comes from Christ. You need to love yourself, so you need to give your life to Christ if you haven't gave your life to Christ. There's a lot of things that I talk about on my YouTube channel. I mean, I show fits. I do freestyles. They're not perfect freestyles. I'm still learning to stay on beat. I'm not perfect at anything, and I'm not in competition with no other rappers. I have never put a song out. I just do freestyles. But I did step out of the boat to pay for a beat that I never received. But anyway, I'm just saying that, I wanted to have that beat before the Awaken event took place because my church puts on the Awaken event, but I never received the full beat. So, he was supposed to help me form my lyrics to a beat. I can't write over the beat if I don't have the full beat, So, that was what I was wanting to get done before the Awaken event took place that my church is putting on, so that way I could perform at the Awaken event. That was the plan. But being that I never received the beat and I don't know how to make beats, it didn't happen, So I've been guided somebody that where I go to Burger King all the time, there's some kind of a manager there or something, and he gave me information about other churches that probably would let me read my poetry, rap my poetry, whatever, and that they put on events and stuff like that. Because my church, I feel like, in a way, I feel like I was rejected. You know what I mean? Really, I mean, people in the church can see I have a talent, but it's just like, yeah, it is what it is. But either or, I still go to the church. I don't let whoever come against me tell me which way to go. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't put my faith in man or woman. I put my faith in Christ. But yeah, my channel has a lot of different things. I mean, I've done stuff from dance videos to freestyles to showing you all fits that I buy from Ross. I know I don't do fit reviews from like TJ Maxx or Burlington Coat Factory or places like that because I don't have one in my town. You know what I mean? Like, I wish we had a Burlington Coat Factory and a TJ Maxx in our town. It'd be nice. But unfortunately, we don't have that. We have a Marshalls, we have a Ross, we have a Walmart, we have a Kroger's, and stuff like that. So that's pretty much, we have a Hibbett Sports, we have a Dunham Sports, we don't have malls in my town. I don't live in a city. The closest mall for me is probably an hour and a half away, So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of places to shop at in my town, so I do Ross reviews and Marshall reviews. A lot of times I don't do reviews inside the stores because anytime I've tried to, either the music got me copyrighted, so I had to take the video down. I don't know. It's probably the music playing in the store. I don't know, but either or. Almost every time I've tried to upload a video for Ross or Marshalls, there's always some kind of copyright strike that YouTube comes against me. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is just because you're recording stuff in the store, but I've tried to do videos like that in the past. A few of them I was able to that YouTube let me post, and a lot of them I couldn't post. So a lot of times I don't record in the stores because I don't edit my videos. I don't know how to, just like I don't know how to make beats, even though I got all the equipment. It's just sitting around and I'm not using it, so like I really need to. I've been saying for months I want to call Sweetwater to see about getting my DAW software, which I'm probably going to have to end up paying for it because you only get it to use it for 2 months and then you got to pay for it. And I'm trying to think what the name of that DAW was, but either or, it came with 2 months free subscription to it, and that's probably already passed, so I'm going to have to pay for the DAW. It's just that, I was really, really hoping that this beat would have been done and that I could have had it recorded and lyrics put to it, but unfortunately, that has not come to pass yet. That doesn't mean it's not going to come to pass, but it's been several months since I paid for this beat back at the end of February. And you got March, April, May, June, July, and now we're in the month of August. It's been almost 6 months since I paid for that beat, and I've yet to receive the full beat, The plan was to step out of the boat and do something with these lyrics that I've been writing for years. That was the whole reason behind it, was to step out of the boat like Peter stepped out of the boat and walk forward in my purpose and do something with the lyrics that God guided me to write, that I've been writing for over 10 years. And probably longer than that, probably almost 11 years, might be even 12. But the thing of it is, I never got the beat. I don't know how to make a beat, so, I really needed somebody to help me a little bit, somebody that would record it, stuff like that. I paid extra money for that. But unfortunately, you can't expect me to write lyrics to a beat when I don't even have the beat to listen to. I only got a sample of it, first minute and 25 seconds, and that wasn't the complete beat. I was told it was going to be sent. I told him to take his time because at the time, I hurt my back on the job and everything, and I was still working at Serpentine when I paid for this beat, but it wasn't probably a week or two later I ended up leaving the job, so I was just trying to get that beat finished. I told him to take his time, but I didn't know it was taking him almost 6 months to send me a beat, but it is what it is. Just, I don't know what to think, is there a logical explanation? I've reached out to him, I haven't heard nothing back, so I don't know. It is what it is in this life when we think that people are trustworthy, but just because somebody's a Christian don't make them trustworthy either. But there might be a logical explanation, I don't know. But one thing I will say is that, I was reaching out and paid that $250 for that beat for a reason, yet I've never received it. And even though I told him to take his time, I don't think it takes 6 months to somebody who knows how to make beats to send you your full beat. I never did receive it. And I don't know if he tried to send it, and it didn't go through. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a logical explanation. Y'all, I turn my car on because I know I don't like to have my car on when I'm recording, really. Because I know the air conditioner, so I'm going to try to speak a little louder so y'all can hear me. Yeah, it's just a few things that I'm battling right now. I know I talk about many things on my channel, but I'm just trying to bring you all content. I know I don't get a lot of views on my channel. And a lot of people focus on the views and all that, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'm just doing the will of God. I'm doing what God told me to do. And whether I get paid a dime to do what he blessed me to do, I'm still going to do what he blessed me to do because it's a message. The message needs to be out there. I would perform somebody if I ever get a song done. I would, that was my way of stepping out of the boat. Stepping out of the boat with the lyrics I wrote was to step out and pay somebody for a beat, a professional who's been a Christian rapper for 25 years. And I trusted him because I thought, well, my church put him on the stage. So, I figured he was trustworthy. I figured I could trust him. And there may be a logical explanation as to why I haven't received the beat. I don't know. But I paid for the beat almost 6 months ago. It's been 5.5 months going on 6 months. So I don't think it takes somebody 6 months to make a beat if they know what they're doing, and he does. He records his own music and everything, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing. It's not the fact that he don't know what he's doing, but I was really depending on that to come through for me so that way I could have a song ready before the Awaken event. That was the whole reason for it. I wanted to perform at the Awaken event, because I had to have my own song out, I guess, to perform at the Awaken event, but I still don't think my church would have chose me. But this person my church chose to be on the stage, but yet I feel like I've been screwed out of $250, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just kind of odd, and then there may be people in my church that come against me because I'm speaking out about it, but I'm not calling nobody out by name, but I'm just saying it's kind of, it makes you wonder. I'm really hoping there's a logical explanation because I've reached out to him and I haven't heard nothing back. I understand he's got family. I understand that, he's on tours and that he's recording his music. And, I'm sure I'm not the only person. It's just that, I thought the price that he quoted me for $250 to record the song, help me form my lyrics to a beat and all that and record it was a good deal, really. I know it may seem high, but really I reached out to somebody years ago and they want to charge me $500. But I'm getting a lot better at staying on the beat. You know what I mean? I'm getting a lot better. I've been practicing for years, over 10 years. But I'm not perfect at anything. I'm not in competition with other people out here. And many people will say, well, you don't have no music out. You don't have your own song out. So how can you say you're into music? Well, I'm into music. You don't know me. You don't know what I've done for years. Nobody knows in behind closed doors all the years I stayed up. When I wrote those lyrics, late night writing poetry. Some never know of me. The things I wrote of, people don't know of. So I'm putting them out in freestyles. And I've got people on my channel that'll say, well, it's awesome how you can just come up with lyrics like that. But, I've been writing for years. You know what I mean? Like, in the last 2 years, I've just started putting out freestyles. I've never recorded a whole song, or had my own beat that I paid for. And I finally did pay for one, and when I stepped out of the boat, it's like, why is that? I don't blame God. It ain't God's fault that I ain't got the beat. It's not his fault, and I don't want to throw shade somebody's way. I'm just saying, I've reached out. I ain't heard nothing. I don't know why, but it's just like, I wanted to perform at the Awaken event, and I'm assuming that this person would have known that that's what I wanted to do. That's why I wanted to get the beat and get it recorded and get the beat so I could write lyrics over the beat. But it's either or. I guess it don't matter. I could have went on and wrote lyrics. He was going to help me form the lyrics to a beat, but since I ain't got the beat, I figured, well, there ain't no point in worrying about it. I've been writing lyrics to other beats that I haven't made, but they're just freestyles. I'm not profiting off this channel because I don't get enough views or enough subscribers to be monetized. So I'm not making no money off this channel right now. I'm not saying that I'm never going to, but right now I'm not. That's the reality of it all. But I know it will come to pass that one day I will. It's hard to make money off social media. It really is, because a lot of people, they act like you got to be perfect at something to be subscribed. Like, I don't know why people watch people's channels, but they don't subscribe. But I don't sit back and bask in my sorrows over it, because if I did, then I wouldn't do what God called me to do. I can't sit and focus on just the views and the money. It ain't all about the money. It's always been about serving the Lord and doing what he called me to do, whether I make money at it or not. Not to say that I won't never make money. That's not what I'm saying, because I know one day I will. But right now, what I'm trying to explain is I stepped out of the boat and actually finally decided to buy a beat and pay somebody to help me form my lyrics to the beat and, record it, and I never got the beat, So it's just like, you go through a lot of trials and tribulations in the music industry, and I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, why I haven't received the full beat. I don't know. I haven't heard from this person in over 4 months, so I don't know. But it doesn't mean that I hate him. I don't hate him, and I'm not trying to despite him. I'm not even really mentioning his name. But, my church knows who it is, because I go to church, and they know that who I bought the beat off of. You know, but my thing is, I stepped out and was proud that I stepped out, and then I didn't even get the beat. But this is the same person that they put on the stage that I wanted to be on the stage by having a finishing song so I could perform at the Awaken event. That was my whole plan. But God had a greater plan. God had a greater plan. I was never to perform at that event. You know, I was never to perform at that event. It was never to come to pass. And God's speaking to me right now. He's got a greater plan for my life. I'm going to perform on somebody else's stage. It won't be through my church congregation or through their Awaken event. It's going to be at another event. Because that's just the way it is. When we get rejected, our own church congregation may reject us. You know what I mean? They may. There's many people in the world that think because they go to a church that everybody's going to be for you, but they're not. Everybody may be in the body of Christ, but that don't mean that they're your friend. Every Christian man or woman's not for you. Every Christian friend's not for you, because some of them are hypocritical. You know, they look at you and see you have a talent and will acknowledge that you have a talent, but won't give you, you know, want you to serve and help wait on the people and doing that ministry. And then they're like, well, you could talk to the rappers, you know, they'll tell you. I've had people tell me, they've said, you know, well, you could come to the Awaken event and like help give out stuff. Or it's like, yeah, you all want me to do all that stuff, but you don't want me to be on the stage. Well, maybe you need, and you know, I got told that maybe you should talk to those Christian rappers. They might be able to help guide you in the right way and all this and that. I'm like, I reached out to somebody and paid $250 for a for a product that ain't even been finished, that I've never received. So why would I want to sit and talk to them? You know, I think God got me in a different path, because I go to McDonald's. Y'all know I go to Burger King quite often. I get a coffee almost every day, and I buy burgers from there. So there's a guy that's a manager there, which I had seen him there many a times, but I didn't know he was a manager. And yesterday he said he was a manager, and he gave me some information to some different churches that would probably let me perform if I signed up. My church said that if I wanted to perform at the Awaken event, that I had to audition. That's what one person told me. Then when I talked to the person over who does the Awaken event, who puts on the Awaken event in the church, because in our church there's a lot of different people that's over different parts of the ministry. And this person told me that you have to have your own song out or your own song in order to perform. But he said he puts people on the stage that he feels God's guiding him to put on the stage. So in other words, our church is making sure that whoever they put on the stage is worthy to be on the stage, that it's coming from the Lord as to who they put on that stage. But my thing is, I don't believe I was ever going to be accepted. I was rejected. Now my goal, the very person that they put on the stage almost every year that they've done this Awaken event, has basically, in my opinion, the way I assume, and I should never assume, and I'm hoping that there's a logical explanation as to why I never received the beat. But one thing I will say is that this is the reason why I don't trust people. You know, but this is the very same, the person that's over the Awaken event told me that, you know, he watches who he puts on the stage, but yet if this person took $250 off of me and it's been 6 months and I've never received the full beat, I mean, is that right? You know what I mean? Here we are a month away from the Awaken event. It's supposed to take place September 13th, starting at 2 o'clock. You know, if anybody wants to show up to it, show up to it. It's a good event. I'm going to see if I can't get that day off, but I've never requested that day off yet, so I have to go to my manager and see if I can get that day off. Because I haven't been going to church much, because I'm not always off on Wednesdays and Sundays to go to church. Like this week, I'm off Tuesday, and I ain't off again. I wasn't off again till today, which is Saturday. You know, most weeks I don't even get 2 days off in a row. You know, I work at Kroger's, you know, in retail and whatever you might want to call it, food service. So I'm not always off to go to church. But what I'm saying is, what I want y'all to understand is that I'm not trying to throw no shade nobody's way. I just want what I paid for. You know, and I know I said to take your time, but I didn't think it'd take 6 months for somebody to send me a beat. I really didn't think that, but I've reached out to him and I haven't heard anything. I never got his phone number. You know, I just hit him up on Instagram. You know, and I cash apped him the $250 up front. you know. But I know things come up with people, so maybe there's a logical reasoning. I don't know. All I know is it seems like I got crapped out of $250, you know. But this is the person that our church that who's over the Awaken event is putting on that stage. Not to say he's not a good person, but it's just like, I don't know. I really wonder about people when they do you like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not trying to shun nobody, nor am I throwing any name or name dropping anybody. I'm just saying. You know, so my full thing was I was going to get a song out there through paying somebody else to do it, not to write the lyrics, but to help me form my lyrics to the beat and make me a beat. And I was wanting to, you know, if I had to audition for the Awaken event, I was willing to do that. I would have a song out before the Awaken event took place so I could be on the stage. That was you know, but God had a different plan. Because, like I said, I told you about this guy at Burger King. Come to find out, he told me that he's one of the managers at Burger King here in town, and he told me that he went out of his way to send me different churches that would probably let me perform. He said you don't have to, basically the way I understood it, you don't have to perform, you don't have to audition to be put on the stage. You know, they'll let you read your poetry, whatever it is, to get your stuff out there for events for kids. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, that's really cool, because I didn't know other churches was doing this. I thought our church was the only church because they put on the Awaken event. But there's Christian rappers here in Maysville, but why are they only putting people out of our town instead of supporting the ones in our town? And they say they go by what the Lord tells them as to who they put on the stage, but I don't truly believe that. Because if that was the case, you're putting somebody on the stage who stole $250 off me. So I don't think God told you to put him on the stage. That's just the way I look at it. I don't know. I don't know what the hell else to think. I mean, come on, y'all. I know I cuss, and I'm sorry for cussing, but I'm not perfect. I'm not a holier-than-thou person. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to name drop nobody. I'm just saying, you say one thing, people say one thing and do another. They don't know what people are doing. You know what I mean? But they wouldn't give me a chance to be on the stage. But that's okay. It ain't no big deal. I had to have a song out. Well, that was the reason I paid for one. I paid for a beat so I could put my beats and record a song and have one out so I could perform it on that stage. But God said I'm guided to another stage. I mean, you know, because many a times, y'all got to know, there's many a times that your own church congregation of people may reject you. Not that they're saying you don't have a talent. They just got certain people over certain ministries, and they'll tell you stuff like, well, you know, you can't be in the Sunday worship ministry right now. We usually don't start people out there. We usually start them out with something wherever we need them. That's all fine and dandy, but my thing is I can't sit there and do something where I know that I don't know what days I'm going to be off when I'm going to be working with food. I can't commit to something that I can't follow through on, especially if I'm not off on Wednesdays and Sundays to do it. So I was, you know, they offered to let me hold the camera, which I had no problem with, you know. But I just felt like what was said to me, like I had no talent at all because I rapped, and they don't do rap in their Sunday worship music service, you know. I know y'all don't do rap, but you ain't open-minded to do rap. And they're not against rap because they do the Awaken event, so that's what they say, you know. Well, we do the Awaken event. Yeah, you do the Awaken event, but you don't incorporate nothing different into your Sunday worship service. It's always singing, and God loves all. He said make a loud noise. He didn't say that there was nothing against Christian rap. Not to say that they're against rap, but that woman, the way she talked to me, it was almost like I didn't have any benefit. I couldn't benefit the Sunday worship ministry team. I can sing too, you know, like nobody else has a talent, you know. So it's just like, and then I got told by somebody, well, and I'm not putting no names out here, but they said, well, you know, you wouldn't want, you know, they don't really know you. It's like, well, do they get to know me? They don't try to get to know me. And what I know, God told me specifically. I remember Buddy Bell was at our church. And I don't know who it was, if he was the same one, but there was another guest speaker that they had at the church that was saying that you should not turn down anything no matter of how low of a value you think it is when it comes to doing the work of the ministry of the Lord within the church. But my thing is, I understand that, but I also know that there was somebody saying, you may not feel like you're worthy enough. No, because when you tell somebody what you want to do, what they see your talent is, you think that's where they would want to put you. But because people don't try to get to know me, they just assume things and just throw me to the side like I have no talent. But God told me not to even ask. Like, because when I was sitting in that service, I had already asked, I was going to, and just something overwhelmingly told me, and I thought, well, maybe it's the devil telling me not to ask because he don't want me to do what God called me to do. But when it came to pass that I was rejected for that, what I wanted to do, I was rejected. That's when I knew God told me, what God did. It was God speaking to me. It was God telling me not to even bother. It was God. It was the Holy Spirit. So when God tells you no, just know it's redirection and His perfect protection. Just know that He's redirecting you down another path. We don't always know why, but this is just the way it is. It is what it is, y'all. I'm just saying. I mean, it seems too fitting that I stepped out of the boat and paid for a beat that I didn't receive, and then we're a month away from the Awaken event, and I still haven't received a beat. So the song's never been completely written or nothing, because I didn't have a beat to write to, the one I paid for. And that I wanted to be in the Awaken event, but God says I'm going to be on another stage. I don't have to go through the church I don't have to, be on that stage. I'll be on another one. It'll come to pass. That's why God guided this person my way that works at Burger King. How the most unexpected places, but this man went out of his way and everything to give me information. I took a picture of the numbers and everything. Gave me the name of a pastor, maybe a different denomination, but hey, it is what it is. If they're willing to put me on the stage, hey. Everybody's got a story, and that one's mine. So if you're on your way up and God's guiding you in your purpose, just know that it may come in an unexpected place. It may not come in the place that you think it'll come in. But many people will come against me for making this video. Many people will. But I never dropped any names. I just stated. I'm just making my case. I stated my case. Case closed. A new chapter's on its way. A new path's on its way. It's already been revealed. God will guide people your way. When people reject you, He'll guide the people that are for you. Sometimes it's the people not in the pews that will do for you what people in the church won't do. Sometimes people who are not currently going to church but believe in God and are a saved soul, those people God will send you, and He will guide you to the right places who will accept you. Many times God will guide you. Many times it will come from the most unexpected place. God says, don't forget the ones. Just do not judge people just because they don't go to church, because that doesn't mean they're not a Christian. That doesn't mean God's not guiding them to guide you to the right places that will help you in your purpose. Party! Just know, He's always there guiding away. Peace, love, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.